Welcome everybody to another episode of the GOTY Games podcast here on Game Wisdom, where it's in the art and science of games. I am Josh Placer, and joining me, my co-host and the developer currently working on the game Samurai Pig, Joshua Reyes. How are you doing?
Doing excellent. This has been a busy week. I have, again, I've been dealing with the upgrade from Unreal 5.1, so that's been taking up a lot of time, so dealing with that. Other than that, just a ton of work. Josh, how you been?
I've been a better. I seem to have developed, I think, a case of tinnitus or something. I've been hearing this like ringing in my ears, and got a doctor's appointment scheduled, but not for at least another month, like end of January. So I am going to, hopefully, will go away on its own. If not, it's going to be a very annoying 60 days.
Yeah, that's a wait. I actually had same thing happen. Not the same, but for about a week or so, my ear was killing me, and that's always fun.
Other than that, I have to start working on the RPG book as well. I have a few more IGF games to finish judging. And speaking about judging and so on, I got another press key for a game I've been waiting to play, which also completely upends my Game of the Year list. We'll have to maybe do that maybe in like a week or two. I know we have the Game Awards coming up on the 8th, and then maybe we'll try and watch that together, or try to survive it together.
Yeah, we'll try and survive it. We'll try and survive it together for sure. Definitely. It'll be a good stream.
But I guess that's a kind of our good segue into our topic this week. We are now T-minus 5 days out from the 2022 Game Awards. And every year, the Game Awards seems to be like, every time I try to watch, I think it causes me stress damage. And it brings up our topic about kind of the problems that we have when it comes to both judging or what we kind of qualify as a good game, as well as the outlets, or what does it mean to cover games at this level. So I again certainly rave about this for a long time when my voice is dying. So I'll let you kick things off. As both a developer and someone who, of course, plays a lot of games, what do you think about award season?
I am not a fan of them at all. I believe, for sure, what you just mentioned earlier is that you just got a press key for a game, and it's so and you have to play that game soon, and it's so saying within a year first, quantitatively within a year, of course it doesn't work. And then I don't think that the games that are mentioned or awarded, like we're talking about, the criteria that they meet, or whatever the criteria is, just really isn't up to par on what we could consider a game. I think they're veering more toward, and like we talked about this before during the Prestige podcast, that they're veering more toward games that they veer as prestige, or something that they believe would be more presentable toward the main media or the larger public, other than games that are truly the core and soul of what gaming is, right? They're more apt to push something that is going to get more reviews and more artsy reviews and stuff like that, than something that is actually a good game. Like, there's no way you would see, is Vampire Survivors on the list? Would that be? Is it?
I think it just might be.
Is it?
See. I remember seeing it somewhere. Best Indie, which is surprising.
No, not Best Indie. It's not. That's the focus I was focusing on the most. But yeah, they again, the awards, they're really going. They want to market to the largest market, which makes sense, right? If you want to make it the most accessible, of course that's how you would do it. But still, there's just so many issues, I believe, with how games meet the criteria, or what the criteria even is, right? And behind it all, it seems more that there's more marketing and more capitalism than actual care about games themselves.
Yeah. And it does raise, again, a lot of questions about what is really the metric for why games are being chosen. Here's a good example. Best debut indie, we have Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
But under best indie game, it's not being listed at all.
Right.
So it kind of raises, I think, a question right then and there as to if you can be considered the best debut indie game, why can't you be considered for best indie game?
Right. Like, it's literally, if you were going to ask me, like, what the best, I would be hard pressed to say what other indie game would be better than that. It would definitely be in the top 5 for sure, right? So again, what metric is required for it to be there? You know, there's games in there that I don't think should be there, and that Vampire Survivors should be instead.
Yep, and as another point about like the cutoffs for this, as we all know, Midnight Suns by Firaxis just released, I think, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, somewhere around there. I just literally got a press key for it today, which now I have to completely go into that. I gotta finish Midnight Suns in a month, so I can see where it lands on the list. But that is a very, Firaxis is not like a little time studio.
No.
So why is that not being considered for any? I'm actually going to double check that just to make sure. But here's another interesting point. Signalis, which came out in came out in October, is not being considered at all for any of the lists.
I knew you were going to bring that one immediately. I thought that was the first one you were going to bring up, Josh.
And again, like, it is a really fantastic survival horror game. But when you look at the list of, what are the categories, of course, survival horror is not on there. But remember, Sifu is a fighting game.
Yeah. Were you streaming Sifu? Have you been streaming it?
I streamed like 2 nights of it, and I did finish it on my own last night, which was just a pain.
I saw you. I saw you playing it earlier this morning. I said he's still playing that game. I said there's no way he's enjoying it right now.
But like with that, and then we look at like best sim strategy. No Midnight Suns mentioned. A 2 Point Campus is on the list, and again, like, here's like that fun thing. When I look at the sim strategy every year from the Game Awards, I feel like they are really, really stretching. What games are trying to put in there, because they seem to be very against adding more award categories. And I think that's as a brief tangent, I think it's its own point. Part of the problem I think that the game industry has when it comes to award categories is that we never know what games are being released year by year. It's not like a case where we know, okay, 6 survival horror games are coming, 4 FPSs, 2 RPGs. Yeah, imagine a year of only 2 RPGs. And 87 at least Vampire Survivor likes a year.
That would actually be good. You know what? I honestly, I put this out there. I bet you that every gamer would be happy if for 1 year, like, there was like no games released like for 1 year, so everybody could catch up on their backlog. I think everybody would be happy about that, because again, we've talked about this before. Like, what's the reason to play the same game over and over again? How about let's get our backlog done first, right?
Wait, you're saying that like I could ever finish my backlog at this point?
What? I don't even know. And then plus your wish list too, right?
Oh yes. And I actually want to. I was thinking about another game I wanted to check to see when it came out. And I completely forgot about, which is really good because of all the games being released. But again, it's that challenge of very few places I think have, I would say, like, really good award categories for video games. And this is, I think, again, like, part of the problem with the Game Awards in particular, is that it doesn't feel like it's focused on the developers of these games. I know I said this last year when I had a discussion with Shark about this, that it feels like it's more about, the celebrity surrounding the video games.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that they want to really push a prestige of it. It's an award ceremony, so they want to have as much gala as possible around it, and it really cuts into the integrity. And as gamers, we know that, and we're aware, and so the validity of it is really cut short. Like, and I feel this year, like, it is probably the most egregious that I've ever seen it, as far as like what games are there, why they're there, and then of course the time frame, of course, like is also very odd for some of these games. God of War, Ragnarok literally just came out. I mean, you know, and then you have. I think that a game needs to have a little more maturation, or a little, you know, it needs to, like, you know, weather the seas a little bit longer, like at least as long as Elden Ring, before it's considered game of the year. Like a game coming out at the last month and then that's the game of the year. I don't know. To me, that always seems a little bit off, Josh.
Yeah, I honestly think that we should delay Game of the Year nominations until at least January, or delay the awards until January.
For sure.
The problem, as we all know, is that, hey, a game that comes out in November or December, and we're going to honestly remember that game and then grade it on top of all the games that come out the next year.
Exactly.
It's just not going to happen.
Right, and it doesn't work at all. It doesn't work. It's not possible. And with the way that people's time frames or attention spans work, I mean, and that's the thing, right? A newer game comes out, it's overshadowed the older, you know, Elden Ring period. We could be like, I don't know who, but someone's going to be like, well, God of War, the newer one, is just way better than Elden Ring. And may or may not be. That's up for I'm not discussing which is better or if they're even worth the discussion. But it's because it's newer and the time frame and the marketing is there that actually can sway, right, where the votes go. Because I see right here, I can just sign in to vote, right? And it's just, I can vote, just, I don't know, maybe good marketing, right?
Yep. And it still is very, like, suspect as to what gets a game
all sus
on this nom. And I think before we talk more about this, I can switch over to full screen of the award page, and we can look at the nominations.
I was hoping we were going to do that.
So let's see if this will work. I had it set up before. Okay, good. It actually did pop up. So if everyone can look at my screen, this is the Game Award nominees.
I don't see your screen, Josh.
Uh-oh.
I only see you still. You're almost there.
Could be a delay. There's always that 5 to 10 second delay. I hope everyone can see it now.
No, because I'm watching the feed from our Discord.
Okay. I think it's good on YouTube. Like, I put it up on.
Oh, yes. Okay, got you. My bad.
No, that's all right. Bad. And we'll switch back to our normal screen in probably like 2 or 3 minutes, based on how long it takes to cover this. But we have here, of course, the Game of the Year. And we have Plague Tale.
Excellent place to start. Okay, a Plague Tale Requiem. Josh, what do you have to say? Anything to say about that?
I don't see why.
Yeah, I don't see why at all. Yeah. And
I mean, Elden Ring, that's a given. I mean,
for sure.
I may rate my least favorite game of 2022, but it does deserve a Game of the Year nom at least here.
Or like, what's the award for a game that you liked and then disliked the most? It dropped off the quickest for you. That would be the award for me.
That could be where Elden Ring is. We have Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Xenoblade, and, like, this is my problem. Like, no one's been talking about Horizon Forbidden West. Like, there's been no mention of it.
It's literally the same game as the first one. I mean, again, and we've talked about this for sequelitis. Like, was there a reason to even have a second Forbidden West? I mean,
Money.
at all? Money, other than money. I mean, but the thing is that by creating that sequel, like you're not really expanding the genre or doing anything that's needed. Because again, no one's talking about it, no one's playing it. I think more people are talking about Xenoblade Chronicles or Stray than Horizon West.
And like with Stray, that's like the weirdest thing. Like,
yeah, man,
I've seen a lot of people talk about it's cute to control a cat. I've heard literally nothing about what the gameplay is.
There's a cat.
Yeah.
And I was trying to play it this morning. I did not have time. Wasn't feeling too hot, so but I was trying to get it in to see, because I was like, okay, let me see how the cat controls, because if that's the main thing, then okay, I'll get it maybe. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about how the story is or anything. And then Xenoblade,
I haven't played it. I only played the first one. I kind of feel like that was like thrown as like we need to have an award from Nintendo.
Exactly. That's the very sus part about it, is it seems like it just needed to be put there. And see, and if you look at each game, it's almost like it's almost like a category for each type that they threw in there, right? Like, okay, an indie one, here's an action one, here's
an RPG.
An RPG, Plague's Tale, something with rats in it and some and a little bit of emotion, right? And so, because I think that's probably one of the only, I don't know how many like emotional games came out this year that were.
And my issue with Stray is that I'm not quite sure this would really be considered an indie game or not. Like, yeah. I haven't really looked too much at the studio, but
let me look at the studio.
Like, the weird thing about, and of course this brings up that ever-loving topic of what is an indie, is that we're not really seeing, like, I guess the quote-unquote indie game, like a Celeste, or, a game that is more aesthetically driven as opposed to engine or horsepower driven.
Exactly. Blue 12 Studios is the studio behind Stray. Founded in 2016.
Click on this. So does it go somewhere? Oh, no. Vote to save. Right.
Oh, it says Blue 12 right there. Okay. Look at that.
No, don't sign me up for the mailing list.
Yeah, I kept trying to get it. It was trying to give me notifications also. I was like, I don't want notifications.
It won't let me out here. Okay, there we go. I'm back. I hope. Come on, website. Don't let it get all weird on me now. Let's try this one more time. Game of the year. There.
Categories. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so again, it just raises that question as to why these 6 games? Because there are a whole lot more than 6 released this year.
Exactly. And I really feel like there's only one that kind of belongs there, and that's that's Elden Ring, really. You know what I mean? The other ones, it's again, like I was talking about the maturation of a game, that it needs to like kind of weather the storm, be out there a little bit. Has God of War Ragnarok been like taken apart and felt and like
probably
understood as a game compared to Elden Ring?
No, I don't think so. And let's go to the next category, Best Game Direction. So I have a question. What the heck does this mean, Best Game Direction?
I saw that and I was wondering, and I'm just gonna stay story wise, narrative wise, right? Long Ears, hey Long Ears, welcome. Yeah, I think I would think that, because, well, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Immortality, and Stray. I'm not sure again on the story of Stray.
Like, game direction doesn't scream gameplay. It doesn't scream mechanics.
Right.
And like, here's the point. If we're talking about gameplay, if we're talking about design, I don't know if Horizon and God of War would deserve to be on this list.
No, not at all.
Elden
Not at
Ring,
all.
Elden Ring, despite my problems, I would put on the list just for being such a different take on open world gameplay. I'm not a huge fan of Immortality, but I do respect what they're doing with it, so, that one's fine. Stray again. Why? I don't understand why Stray would be on this list.
I'm just guessing here, Josh, but I'm thinking that cats are very popular on the internet, and I'm going to think that that's the only reason why, because there was finally a cat game, and so they have to put it in there. I don't know. I'm very unsure why Stray's in there.
And here's like the other point. We could argue that Vampire Survivors could deserve best gameplay or best game direction.
For sure. Definitely.
The fact that it has basically created a brand new subgenre in the span of a year, I think gives it some kind of credibility. The same thing for Slay the Spire.
Yeah, so you had like a Slay. Okay, you have Elden Ring created or Dark Souls, a new genre. Slay the Spire, new genre, and then what was it with the one Vampire?
Yeah.
That's literally new genres or types of video games that is definitely award worthy. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure. Like, and you're talking God of War Ragnarok. More on the same. It's the exact same, just more of it.
And again, this is the other problem with these lists. If we go back to Game of the Year, if A Plague Tale Requiem deserves to be on Game of the Year, why is it not an anywhere nomination for Best Game Direction?
Exactly. Because the only reason it would be Game of the Year is because of its direction.
Yeah, and again, why is this award I feel like Best Game Direction, Best Gameplay should be a greater credence for Game of the Year.
Definitely.
And for one thing, it would also stand to include more games that aren't just graphical powerhouses. Let's see.
Yeah, see, and again, the graphical powerhouses, that's a good point, Josh, is that they're real, again, it's an award, so they're really trying to make it as bombastic and gala as possible. And so even if the game isn't a game that should be there, they're looking at it as it's the one that's going to appeal to the masses the most.
And now we have Best Narrative, which this definitely brings up the whole lore versus narrative chat. Because Elden Ring, I would not argue, would be on this list. It has great lore. Narrative.
Lore. For best lore, definitely.
Yeah.
There's literally no narrative in that game at all.
And again, this is definitely where a game like Immortality would certainly shine in terms of best narrative. But yeah, A Plague Tale, Horizon, that's definitely stretching it, I think.
Horizon is a stretch. God of War, medium, maybe. The first one, the 2018, was it 2018? The 2018 one had, was really narrative based. Elden Ring, no, and then A Plague Tale, yeah. I think that again, that one should be right. It should be in direction. It should be in narrative, and it should be in Game of the Year if they're following the metrics correctly. They missed one of them there on that one. But again, yeah, it's best narrative.
Yeah, and then we go to Best Art Direction, and this is another one that I think really highlights the issue.
I couldn't even tell you changed the page, Josh.
Well, now there's Scorn on it, so that gives you at least
There's Scorn.
This is, I think, one of the other big issues when it comes to these award shows, they are very pro 4K graphics. They're very pro like expensive art dev in these kinds of games. And like we've said, there are some fantastic indie games that have done interesting things in the past without needing to go full 4K super high def. You can look at something, and here's the other point. Even what about games that do like very interesting takes on style? Signalis, with its use of different cutscenes. If we go back to Greece from a few years ago.
What is Roller Dome? Is it Roller Dome?
Roller Dome or Drone? One of those.
Roller Drome. Why is that not in best art direction? Like, this is just amazing 4K Scorn. I understand, right? And Elden Ring, you know, it's
again Stray. Why?
Cat.
Yeah, there. I think, Josh, you need to change your game from Samurai Pig to Samurai Cat.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I did have some internal issues when this game came out. I was like, why didn't I choose a cat? Why didn't I?
Give him a cat sidekick.
He has a cat sidekick. There we go. And then next year we'll have a conflict of interest because it's going to be up there in best narrative.
Yeah, and best game direction.
Best direction.
And again, like, art direction doesn't mean anything in a lot of these cases. Like, God of War and Horizon, they're both, you know, very fancy-looking games, but do they really scream a unique aesthetic or a unique look to them?
Right. No, it is the, I guess, the standard or the expectation, right? It's not, it doesn't deviate from what people would consider the normality of a AAA game. So.
And again, like, for everyone here, you know I've played a lot of indie games with very unique art styles and direction to them. And again, it's that case of, do you reward something that just looks like everything else? Or do you go for something that really stands out?
Like, okay. So, and that's the thing. It should be something that hey, Pony, it should be something that really stands out because, like, okay, let's think about this and break it down. Like, God of War. I'm just going to talk about God of War and Horizon, for example. Not to achieve those type of graphics, all you need is just good dev. You just need devs. And I'm not even going to say you just need talented devs that are texture artists and texture modeling. And like, it's not something that's achieved through creativity. Can you scroll up a little bit on this one? Which category are we in?
This is art direction.
Art direction, right. Okay, so if we're talking about, there's literally no art. Like, what art direction is done in God of War Ragnarok compared to, say, I don't know, Roller Drome, for example? I looked at Roller Drome and I was blown away. I was like, wow, looking at, where's best level design? That should be,
yeah.
You know, and so the end point, to sum up my point is, to achieve Horizon Forbidden West's graphics, or God of War's, artistic design and animation, it just takes money, and that's
time
and money. And when instead we should be rewarding something more like Scorn, which is thinking out of the box. And and not to sound like we're like just hating on Stray, but what's different about Stray?
Yep. Again, I don't know. And I think to the point about having these categories, that we need to really just draw that line in the sand as to what design categories should be universal. Like,
Right.
we need to get away from, you know, action adventure covering 95% of the games that are released each year.
Right.
And
Because most games are action Like if you even in an adventure game, you move the mouse, an action occurred. So you could still consider that an action game.
Mm-hmm. What was it? XCOM is going to
XCOM
win the best first-person shooter
is
next.
first person.
Mm-hmm. And I think with like an art direction, I think there should really be two art categories. One for like excellence in pushing hardware and
Technology,
that
right?
with like Last of Us 2 with like rope physics and
Right.
the game that can best define someone's like arm hair and facial hair. And
So like best technical art, and then maybe
best like
more
aesthetic, best art
aesthetics.
direction,
Right.
something that you don't need because the one thing about the award shows is that it very much screams who has the most money to throw, to win an award.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the big issue is like when I spoke of validity of the award show, all I see is money. Which one had the most money, right? Stray had a big I'm not sure, and I don't want to misspoke, but I'm just going to assume that Stray had a really good marketing budget behind it and a really good marketing push. Some marketing team said was like, "There's a cat here. We got to market this game." And then that's it. It was just marketed excellently, and so it fits into it ends up here in the award. And like Pony said, yeah, there's no way for a small fry to get noticed, and then also that there's not enough nominations. There's not enough games. Only 5.
Yep, and 3 of them are already AAA.
Right.
Yeah, and there's just not enough.
And then Pony's another point. Pony's just dropping some points here. Is that what is actually the point of the awards? What are we getting out of this here?
Yeah.
What
I will just take a pain if God of War or Horizon win over Scorn.
God of War is going to win.
Probably.
Yeah. Or Horizon, maybe. Yeah. And we were talking about, because there's going to be a confusion between like tech, maybe like the hair tech in Forbidden West was just like a little better than God of War,
8,000 plus. I think that's a little small, Pony, for the game's release this year. Okay, let's go to best score and music.
There's no way it was only 8,000. That was just in 1 week.
And this is one of those categories. This is something that I feel very rage-inducing about this category. Why should licensed music count over original songs and soundtracks?
Inclusion of score, original songs, and or licensed soundtracks.
Like, something about this is just very wrong.
I would be fine if you removed licensed soundtracks. I have a big issue. I don't know which one used the piano remake of an older song. When they do probably a Plague's Tale. I feel like a Plague's Tale or Metalhead singer did it.
Yeah, and I'm still just like completely enraged that Library of Ruina did not win best or got no nominations last year, because its soundtrack is probably one of the best I've heard. Like, it beat every AAA game that was nominated last year. And again, for those who didn't, like, listen to the OST for Library of Ruina. Like, they go all in on their music.
Side note, join the Discord just because Pony, who's in the chat, me and Pony love to post OSTs and sound. So if you like to jam to music that should be awarded, join the Discord.
Did you bring enough pizza for everyone, Chris, by the way?
Yeah. Is there enough? It's pizza time, man.
Exactly. We need to play some Turtles, too, at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Turtles and pizza.
Like, Mel Hellsinger, I'm of two minds about. it is a game where music is intrinsically linked to it, but it's not music created for the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Exactly. Did that have a lot of let's see. Bear McCree, let's see, composer, Two Feathers.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Two Feathers. Is that a band?
I don't know, but I know with Mel Hellsinger, all the major music of the game is licensed from recognizable metal bands.
Oh, okay. So Two Feathers Studio is a studio that specializes in music and sounds for games. It's a composer duo.
And any year that there's a new Persona game and they don't get nominated for Best Song or Best Score is another travesty.
I know, that is a complete travesty, Josh.
I did not play Xenoblade, so I don't know how that stands. Elden Ring, in terms of...
Well, we still got a month. We still got a month, so yeah. I think I should play. I've seen it pop up, and I'm like, should I look at it?
Elden Ring, I don't know if I would really call the music memorable or best score. Like
I was about to say, did it have music?
I don't remember any music from Elden Ring.
I remember,
I don't
remember the Bloodborne music, like,
oh yeah,
like nobody's business. But I literally don't remember any music in Elden Ring.
If
there was boss music that happened, finish Samurai Pig before Christmas. I am working on it. I literally, just a side note, I finished up some a big project I had going on the side. So we're gonna have a lot more dedicated dev time for Samurai Pig. So we might. We'll see.
You can get in for Game of the Year 2022, right?
I might be able to get in for Game of the Year of 2022.
There you go. I remember, like, Father Gascoigne's theme is still permanently stuck in my head.
Yeah, like every morning when I work out, I listen to it.
Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Okay, what is best audio design? Can someone... I guess
so best audio's the footsteps, the echo from when you shoot the arrow off the wall. So literally, when we were talking about art direction, like the technical and aesthetic, this would be the technical.
Okay.
So I could imagine Call of Duty having insane, like millions and millions and thousands of layers of footsteps and shotgun shells and all kind of stuff. There's a car game, so this is just technical things. God of War, again, I don't know.
Yeah, this is definitely outside my wheelhouse, so I'm not, like, I have, like, no dog in this fight.
Right, yeah, no dog in this fight. I'm sure they have, especially Gran Turismo and Call of Duty.
Don't worry, I'm sure God of War will take it again.
Yeah, God of War is going to win this one for sure.
Best performance.
Oh, well, this would be God of War is going to take it again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think this is another point about the Game Awards. Like, we're recognizing the voice actors and actresses, but we're not really recognizing, individual people who make games or who are part of the game dev side.
Thank you for mentioning that part, Josh. I mean, it's a performance, and see, that's kind of leading to, like, I think, like, the overall problem here is that they're trying to make the award more like a movie award than what it actually is, a multidisciplinary field that requires huge amounts of teams and huge amounts of people, and that you could recognize you could do an award and, like, recognize best modeling or best rigging or best, like,
best, like, community manager,
right, best PR.
Yeah,
keep going, Josh. I mean,
best PR, community, best, again, like, we could talk about, like, I wouldn't say, like, best game designer. I feel like that's a little too nebulous. But
that's almost like going back to the Game Awards, like
yeah.
the Game Awards stuff.
But at least like recognizing, like if the Oscars gonna have, best, sound engineer, best costume designer, that kind of thing.
Best book writer, best design book writer.
Yeah. Thank you, Pony, as well. For that. So again, and to Pony's other comment, nepotism is overpowered, needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, for sure, nerf that.
All right, let's move on. We're only at 8 of 31. We're going to be here for like the next 2-3 hours.
Wow.
Games for impact.
So for a thought-provoking game with pro-social media... Okay, so pro-social and meaning, no dog in this fight. I'm not sure what subjects they cover. Hopefully they cover them awesomely.
Like, this seems to be where they like to throw all the indie games in at.
Yeah.
Wait, to Pony's comment. Yeah, Kratos doesn't have any thought-provoking for throwing that axe.
It was impactful when he threw his axe?
And it came back.
It came back to him.
The only games that I played on this list was Citizen Sleeper and Endling. I like Endling.
Josh, we need to get the guy who helped code the axe. We need to get that guy on the podcast.
There we go. Again, like, this is one of those categories that I really don't like. Josh said, like, I don't really have any real, like, dog in this fight. Again, you're talking to someone who talks mechanics.
Yeah, so I don't know any of these.
This doesn't really.
But that's great. That's great. That's what I want to see, though. I want to see stuff I don't know, and so that way I would look into it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like, this I think would be a good category. Like, I think this is one that it's always great to have an award that kind of avoids the AAA side.
Yeah,
because if a AAA game wins games for impact, I don't know, like, if Call of Duty wins games for impact, that's going to raise a lot of questions.
That campaign was so impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I had to press F for... Is it F? Pressing F first?
Yeah. Best ongoing
Which one,
game.
Pony? All right, so okay, so this for sure, I'm going to vouch for Final Fantasy XIV as the best ongoing game of all time.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think it should just, like, take home and it should just have, like, a permanent award for this point.
Yes, the permanent award, yeah. It's a permanent award.
Yeah. And again, like, it does raise these questions as to why. Why are these games on this list? Like, has Fortnite actually done anything new or legitimate with their content? What about Apex Legends? Genshin Impact, like, again, there's a lot of mobile games that do very fascinating things with more content. But, again, this award feels very AAA sounding to me.
Yeah, all AAA. Just full AAA.
Like, you're not going to see an indie dev support a game for 3 years of completely brand new original content.
Right, and you're right. So again, big money, big studios. I mean, geez, when I remember the podcast when we talked about Genshin Impact being released, how much it made, like the first hour, like or day or something, it was astronomical. So yeah, these are just big AAA, big money.
Yeah. Best indie. Oh, good. This is where the pain really comes.
Stray, Josh. Stray. I mean, hands down, it has a cat. I don't know what else to say.
And again, this is where we get. I do
no Warframes. Just side note, I didn't see Warframe in there.
Yeah, I don't know why Warframe or Path of Exile. Well, Path of Exile has been kind of going down. Like, they're not doing as much, but
still, it's Path of Exile. It's still cool. And then Warframe. Wow, good call. I mean, I would put above Apex. Like Warframe for sure. Warframe has this amazing story. So you could also like Final Fantasy 14. When I say that is because of the story. From it went from complete horrid, redid it like within a year, fixed it up, and now it's one of the best like running games with constant updates. Warframe listened like to their community, listened to the community, updated things. Like really amazing. It should be there also, you know? Anyway.
Yeah. And this list is just very... I don't know, there's something about this list that bothers me.
Is this going to turn into the Sifu is almost as bad as Elden Ring?
Maybe. But, like, I feel like this is, again, one of those lists that it's who has spent the most money to get notice to be on this list. Like, Tunic, I've heard very little outside of, you know, when it first came out.
Yeah, when it first came out.
Cult of the Lamb, the same thing. Like, I would not put Cult of the Lamb on the best indie list. It's a good game, but it's not, like, Game of the Year.
It is literally like a good... Yeah, it is not Game of the Year. It's a good game.
And no Signalis. You have an original survival horror game.
And why is Vampire Survivors not here?
Yeah. You know, a game made outside the traditional publisher system, really not Vampire Survivors.
That is wild. And I'm gonna call sus. I'm gonna call sus on Sifu being made outside of traditional. I need to look at it, but I just feel like...
Also, there's another big point here. 4 of these 5 games have a publisher. They had the traditional publisher system.
The publishers. They all had publishers. So this is not like... Yeah, the Devolver... I started up Cult of the... Because I literally just played Cult of the Lamb yesterday for the first time. And then I saw Devolver and I said, what?
Why is there no Faith on this list? I want Mortis.
No, yeah, just complete...
New Blood got snubbed again. Dave Autry's gonna be pissed.
This as like the one category where you could have some like validity and some kind of like credence. This is a laughable list.
And speaking about Faith, best art direction. It's a game that they match and made 8-bit, you know, text-to-speech, completely terrifying with rotoscoping.
Yeah, that is insane. That is insane. Talk about art. That is true art direction. Like, if I was the art director at that would be a completely different thing. We're figuring out new tech. We're really figuring out a new direction. If I was art directing God of War, there is no, like, new direction. It is already known what we need to do. Okay, this texture needs to be this resolution. It needs to be this size. It needs to look like this. So the skin looks good, and we need to add this shader. There's no art direction really happening, if that makes any sense. It's more like make sure that this technical formula is followed so it looks good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
This just does not seem right as a list for best indie game.
It is very agree, and I wanted to focus. This is the one, of course, we're going to focus on the most because we're indies, you know, our main thing, and I'm literally appalled at the list.
And again, how can you have best indie and not include Vampire Survivor?
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
If we go by reviews, Neon White has 7,308 reviews. Vampire Survivors has 157,825 reviews.
What was the review count again?
135 or 125,000 Vampire Survivors.
Okay, so Vampire Survivors. So it has more reviews. And so if we were going to say what's the metric? Only money, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, and apparently one of the games I've been looking for is on sale, that RPG Legend game. But there's an indie festival, or indie expo is going on right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now?
RPG Time is on sale for $20. I may actually pick that up because there's another game that I want to check out for Game of the Year.
Did you pick up Roller Drone?
Not yet, but I think I will, too. Well, now that I have Midnight Suns to play, I can.
Now you got Midnight Sun. I'm gonna do Rollerdrome. I was looking at some of the level design in it. I was like, oh, I gotta check this game out. So.
And again, like to Pony's talking about Vampire Survivors, I mean, you can love it or hate it, but you cannot deny like the meteor slamming impact it has had over the last 12 months.
Like me that I almost believe that meteor slamming is like an understatement for for what it has done, because again, like it literally created a new way, like a price point, like like a price point, a new mechanic, a new genre, like just amazing. And that it's not on the list is a travesty.
Yeah. And here's the other point: Plague Tale Requiem only has 4,300 reviews on Steam. So I mean, Vampire Survivors, I think, probably has more reviews.
More reviews than a Plague Tale, yeah.
I'm curious if it has more reviews than Elden Ring right now.
I want to know. Hey, I want to know, Josh. Can you find out the how much time? Like, can we find out how much time they've spent playing? Like the turnover rate between Plague Tale and Vampire Survivor.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
like who's played more? Or you know, I bet you that there's like way more hours logged in Vampire than Plague Tale. Like people were just like, "Oh, that's really neat. There's rats in a story, yay!"
Yeah,
and they bounced out and they went back to Vampire Survivors because it rules.
Yep, and again, it's that question of why does a game like Horizon, God of War, or Stray deserve to be considered best game direction or best game of the year when you have this indie game that came out of nowhere and just did everything? Like, it has over 100,000 reviews. I mean, there are a lot of indie devs who would love to have the sales numbers of Vampire Survivors right now.
Should I play Tunic, Pony? Yeah, I mean, the sales numbers of, again, like I was talking about that model, the price point, the virality of it, and it was just perfect. Like, and if you're talking like the effect that it had on gaming, right? What's the effect that Neon White is gonna have, or what's the effect that Sifu's gonna Sifu definitely gonna have some effect on me on how to not do combat in a game. So if we could do that kind of effect, but what kind of effect do these? How are these award-worthy games? How are they changing anything? How are they doing anything new when there's so many games that were released that did do that?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we can rant and rave about that. We could probably just spend the hour on this one page alone.
On this one, okay, we're on what category?
10 of 31.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Best mobile game.
Okay. Snap. It's on there.
Yeah. I want Diablo Immortal to win this. I just want the chaos.
For the chaos factor.
Yes. I just want them to have to give the award to that, and everyone is going. Just like throwing their hands up going, well, I guess we have to give it to him.
I guess we give it to a Marvel. So yeah, Marvel Snap. Okay, so Apex Legends and mobiles. Me personally, I would like what's the fifth one? Like
Tower of Fantasy, which I've heard from a lot of people saying that game may be dying already. So
Tower of Fantasy. Let me see what that is. There is.
I think it's like a Genshin Impact light.
Well, the cover doesn't tell me what it is.
That says a lot. That describes like 90% of mobile games. The cover doesn't describe what the game is.
I think that's a podcast. As for me, I'm gonna go for. I'm hoping for Genshin just because. I thought it did some really cool technical stuff with the crossplay, and it does use Unity, which is wild that they were able to pull that off in Unity. So. I'm just for a technical aspect, I'm going to go with that.
My gut is going to tell me that Marvel Snap's going to take it because of the Marvel
think so?
factor.
Marvel Snap, yeah. Marvel Snap.
Again,
Should I play it, Josh?
You can play and then you and Seth can talk about it.
Seth has been trying to. He's been trying to get me to play.
Yeah. Again,
It's
I
like
just want. I know Marvel Snap has a great chance. I want Diablo Immortal, and maybe I should just sign in just to give it that vote.
do it. Sign it in, vote it. Let's do it on stream. The chaos. Let the chaos ensue. Oh, wait, you have to sign in though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Best community support.
There
Again,
we go.
I don't know why.
Final Fantasy 14 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy, and no, I'm gonna say Final Fantasy for sure, and I'm gonna say, oh, is Warframe not in there?
No.
Why is Warframe not in there?
Mm-mm. And again, like, this is one of those categories that, again, it feels like it's close, but I would like to see, like, an actual acknowledgement of the people behind these games, or the people behind, this community support. The CMs, the people who are trying to keep all this stuff together.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I didn't know that they had this this category. So this is good. No Man's Sky, I can see them working OT on their PR. I mean, on their on their community. And Final Fantasy is like, I've literally I can't speak for Fortnite's current one, but Final Fantasy's community support is wild. Definitely one of the best. Next category.
All right. Innovation and accessibility. This is a really important category, but I have one big problem with this. I don't know why these games are nominated.
Why is The Last of Us 1?
I know they did like a lot more in terms of like color blindness and more accessibility features like that. I want to say they changed something for people who suffer from blindness, but I don't remember. But this is a category that, one, it's very important, and two, it needs more descriptors. I don't want to just see someone come up and say, thank you for giving me the award. I want to know why these games, or why, someone won it. Like, what did they do?
Right. What, yeah. Why is this? What did God of War do? Or what did Return to Monkey do for, yeah. What did they do?
But this is still a really important award. But if you don't tell why they did it, or what's so important, it just feels like you're giving like a participation trophy. Like, how does it move it forward if you don't explain?
You added color blindness. Yay! You did. Congratulations for being one of the few that did add it. When we do have our talk, or hopefully we have the round table about it, how important it is, because it's such a huge market, and there's so many people that should be able to enjoy the magic and wonder of video games. That's why we study them. That's why we love them. And to make them more accessible for other people, for everyone, if we can, is very good. And so I'm happy for this category. But why? Let's add some descriptors. Let's know what they're doing. Because again, you're making it so nebulous, so unknown about what they're actually doing, and if it's just really just a participation award, like you said.
Yeah. And again, like, this is a category that can really drive trends going forward, if people actually know about what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. If I knew, if I know what they're doing, you talk about what they're doing, I'm gonna be like, oh well, I gotta put that in Samurai Pig. I gotta, that needs to be in there, because my audience, that's a big audience that I'm missing out on.
All right, next category. Best VR AR. Again, I have no say in this one. Book, Red Matter, Among Us. I've heard a lot of people talk about that Walking Dead game, not the Saints Sinners one, that they say is really good. But again, I don't have VR, so I have
nothing
I can really say here.
Yeah. Let's just what is that? Let's Moss Book 2. That sounds fun. Let's go with that one.
Oh, good. Best action game. The fact that Sifu is next to Call of Duty, which is next to Bayonetta, is hurting me. Next to the TMNT game.
Sifu is hurting me, Josh.
Mm-hmm. And this is, again, that kind of issue of how nebulous does it mean that a game focused primarily on combat? So why isn't Elden Ring on this list?
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm trying to think. There's a million other games we could mention. There's just so many. I'm having a brain block there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a very nebulous category.
And just wait till we get to fighting games. But again, it means nothing to this list. Why is Neon White being compared to Call of Duty? They are two very different FPSs. Why is Shredder's Revenge on this list for best action game? I would not put this on an action game list.
And why is a shooter an action game?
Yeah. And to Chris's comment, but it's an action RPG, so you get double nominations for you get a nomination for every genre your game is in. So if you make a first-person visual novel, driving sim, open world shooter, that's like 5 genres right there.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's a good concept, Josh.
It's just that simple. That's why everyone combines genres. It gets you more word categories.
Words.
Let's see. Okay, and here's the other point. We have best action over here for combat. Best action adventure. How are these two, this is hurting me, trying to think about what they're...
Trying to parse the differences is breaking.
Mm-hmm. And again, why is God of War over here an action adventure?
But not in action.
It's primarily focused on combat. What we talk about with the axe throwing.
Okay, go back to the previous category. Okay, best game in the action, primarily focused on combat. Okay, and how do they describe the adventure?
Mm-hmm. Combining combat. This makes no sense. And puzzle solving, really?
I cannot wait for the stream, Josh. I cannot wait for this stream. It's either going to be the worst ever, most painful.
I mean, of this list, I would really only give it to Stray. I mean, not Stray, to Tunic. Because it is, they have some crazy puzzles in that game.
Yeah, that's a puzzle game. And then God of War, what puzzle am I doing? What are their puzzles?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
I would throw, I feel like platformer always gets put into action adventure.
Reversal and puzzle solving.
Oh my! And why not
roller puzzles are total? Yeah, roller drome. And yeah, God of War puzzles are a joke. I was trying to remember what one of the puzzles are. Usually pushing pillars and stones, right?
And you have to cut a rope to drop a platform.
Yeah.
I would say that any game that has the AAA, the paint that shows you what you can climb or can't climb on, is immediately discounted from action adventure. Let's see. Best role playing. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm surprised Sifu isn't on this list.
Elden Ring.
I did not play Live a Live.
Live a Live. Literally never. A triangle strategy.
That's the latest one from the Octopath devs, right?
Oh, wow.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Again, I really don't have any dog in this fight either. But
nothing here.
Purpose seems on rich player content, massively. Why is MMO in?
That's weird. Well, I guess they're saying also if it has MMO, so not to exclude if it has multiplayer.
Again, I feel like Elden Ring is going to automatically take this.
There's nothing that can compete with that.
Alright. And now we go to Best Fighting. And you see what's right here under Best Fighting.
Oh, Josh.
For all the fighting game fans in the audience, how do you feel right now?
Okay, so this morning, I probably played like about, I don't know, while I was doing cardio this morning, and while I ride my bike, I play Tekken 7, so I'm usually playing Tekken 7. I'm a huge fighting fan, and Sifu was one of the most aggravating I feel very, very bad for Sifu being on Best Fighting Game. I feel bad for all fighting game fans.
I want Sifu to win. If I want the other world to win Best Mobile Game, I want Sifu to win Best Fighting Game.
This is a bad list. Can you scroll back up? Let me see the top ones. Yeah, not a good list. Not a good fighting game this year. Multiverse, King of Fighters, JoJo. Yeah, let's go ahead and Sifu. Let's make Sifu win.
All right, Best Family Game.
All right.
I don't really have any say in this one. It is a good award to have. Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I feel like with this list,
I want to play Kirby in the Forgotten Land. That looks like fun.
I do want to pick that one up. I need to get my Switch back hooked up to play.
Can you stream with your Switch, or do you need to get one of the?
I do have a capture card. I just have to hook it all back up again. And the Mario game, I hope Mario takes it. I just have a feeling it won't.
Splatoon 3 is good. Oh, Mario and Rabbids. Yeah, these are all pretty decent games. These are some good games. I think that's all. Is it all Nintendo?
Well, Mario is technically Ubisoft because it's the Rabbids. Traveler's Tale. Yeah, so it's Nintendo, Ubisoft, and Travelers. I'm honestly surprised if we go back to Best Action first again, even despite the negative reviews, that Gotham Knight's not getting on that list.
Diablo Immortal's not on the list, Josh.
Oh no. Yes, Pony. Diablo Immortal brings the family together to look at credit card bills and chargebacks. Alright, Best Sim Strategy.
Good time for the family to discuss finances.
There you go. This hurts me every year when I see this list.
This is bad. This is bad.
Good. And if we had Seth on, I'm pretty sure he would throw a fit at Dune Spice Wars being on the list. Again, and like 2 Point, like it's not really a sim. Like it's more like an arcade, like a theme parkish kind of game.
Right. This is bad. This is bad.
I feel like Total War is going to take it because of the Prestige.
Total War is the only one Prestige.
And
Sim and strategy don't feel like they should be together at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy or strategy gameplay irrespective of platform. Wow, that is bad.
I mean, last year they had what was it? A Microsoft Flight Simulator competing against one of the strategy Age of Empires, because Age of Empires and Microsoft Flight Simulator are the same.
Oh, yeah. That for the year where Ace Combat, it would be Ace Combat and Civilization 3.
There we go. Yeah.
Good year.
Oh, good. Best Sports Racing. F1. I have nothing in this category whatsoever.
Nothing. Olili World looks fun.
Sports Racing and non-traditional. Are you sure, Chris? I think Dwarf Fortress could win best action adventure game or best RPG.
Looking at this category makes me sad. If I was like a sports fan, it looks very like repetitive.
Mm-hmm. All right, best multiplayer. So online, including co-op.
Okay.
Why is Overwatch 2 on this list? Like, again, I want chaos, so I'm going to vote for Overwatch 2.
Wait, hold on. So it's just they're not, no MMOs are considered, I guess, right?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
But it says a massively multiplayer experience.
Multiplayer experience.
Again, like, I don't really have anything to say on this category. I think you do need to have a good multiplayer one, but again, this list feels kind of safey.
Yeah, this is a very safe, very random list. Also, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which game do you want to list?
I'm gonna go with you, Josh. I'm gonna go with Overwatch 2.
There we go. We've been bought by Blizzard, Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard bought us out.
All right,
they're gonna sponsor us about the most, Josh. So
there we go. I still haven't got my Raid Shadow Legends mention yet. It's coming though. Content Creator of the Year. Again, this is a category that
Josh, where are you?
I don't know. I'm right over here. I'm in this this dark space right here. If you zoom in and click in an exact spot, I'll get a mention. But why is this on a Game Awards?
Again, this has nothing. And yeah, we're gonna be having a podcast coming up, or a roundtable about influencer. I have no idea who any of these people are, and why is this on here, and why are they do not contribute? Okay, what they contribute to game? I don't know why this is on here, Josh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is where I want more awards honoring people who are in the actual game industry.
And if they're doing this, they have this category. Why aren't they having somebody in the game space? They are not in the game space.
Yeah. Again, this is an award that goes, best Twitch streamer, best YouTuber, but that's not really game related.
Yeah, not game related at all.
And again, I have no idea who these people are.
No idea who the people are, and you're not on the list, so
yeah.
Next category.
Another snub. Every year I get snubbed there.
No.
Best?
Yeah, rising game devs or something like that. Okay, best you bet indie. Do bet. If I ever become big and famous, remind me to put you off Keely on blast for this week's first week award show.
And this is something that I mentioned on Twitter, that there's a very big issue with this award. What is the background of the indie dev? Because there's a huge difference between indie, meaning you have 30 plus years in the industry and you're now making your first solo game,
right?
Or another aspect of indie, you have 5 to 10 years of experience, and this is just your first role, like at another studio. You formed a new company. So
exactly.
There's a very, I feel like very little research is done in this category. And
I feel like they're doing absolutely no research at all for a lot of these categories.
Norco was a point-and-click adventure game, very aesthetically different and stylistic. It was on Games Pass. I tried it. Again, not my cup of tea of a game. But again, it's that question of what is debut about this? Created by a new independent studio, okay, but again, an independent studio that's made up of industry veterans is very different than an independent studio made up by, let's say,
Yeah.
students making their first game. Oh,
Right.
that's another point. I would love to see a Best Student Award, or, best, really, like, first-time concept of a game.
Is this their first game?
For a lot of these people, I would say no. Because I know the developer of Neon White, he did another game that I think I interviewed him for. So, I mean, it's not their first game.
This makes no sense.
And again, like, this is one of the things I like about the IGF. They do have a specific student category. So, again, like, this category doesn't really make sense to me. And for this list, if Vampire Survivors doesn't take it, then there is something very wrong.
There's something very wrong with the world.
And again, if you have Best Debut Game, why can't that be, for Game of the Year?
And they put Vampire Survivors at the very bottom.
Yeah.
You have to scroll down to see it.
Alright. Best Adaptation. Another thing that, again, it's that, they're trying to make it very Hollywood.
Ugh. Well,
why is Uncharted on this list?
Oh my gosh. Because it exists. Because it simply exists, right? I mean, wasn't there that Castlevania one also?
Yeah, I think that concluded this year.
Oh, it
was
finished
last year, yeah.
Oh.
Again, I have no say in this one, but I don't get why this is at the Game Awards. Like, the studios have nothing to do with this. Oh, maybe like Riot does with Arcane. I think they did a lot of work there. But again, if you're just licensing a character or licensing your brand, okay, why does that get a Game Award now?
Yeah.
I want, what was it? Oh, well, we can't vote for the Mario movie, right? That's for next year.
Well, I guess, Sonic.
Alright. Most anticipated game. If there's anything that shows money being thrown, I think it's this category.
Yeah.
But I love, as a bit of an aside, recognizing an announced game that has illustrated potential. So it's supposed to be a game that's going to push things forward. We have 3 sequels on this list. Because a sequel will always push the industry forward in a brave new direction, right?
Definitely. And new directions. I mean, wow. There's 2, well, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, because the Hogwarts game has no controversy surrounding that one. Oh.
It's a hype award. Yeah.
Again, for Chaos Energy, I think I want Hogwarts to win.
But if this is the hype award, I'm not very hyped. I'm not very hyped for the games.
And no one will know what game I'm most excited for 2023. That is the next game from Project Moon, Limbus company.
Limbus.
Which I know no one here has any idea what that game is or what it's about. But yeah, like, why is Resident Evil 4 on this list? It's a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake.
How is it pushing the gaming medium forward? I feel like this should be only for, like, original property game.
Right. Most anticipated, recognizing that have demonstrated illustrated potential to push the gaming media forward. In no way, shape, or form are any of these games pushing anything forward.
Alright, and then Best Esports Game. If there's ever a category that I have no say in, it is this one. Legends, Rocket League. I am surprised there's no fighting game on this list.
Yeah, I was about to say, where's my Tekken 7?
Yes, they will, Chris. They're coming for you. League Dota.
Oh, the Nintendo ninjas they're quick. They're quick, Chris.
I'm surprised that there's no card game on this list. No Marvel Snap.
No Snap.
Also, here's like the weird thing about this list. These games did not come out in 2022, and I understand again that esports is a long-term thing. But how do you grade this list? Why not Apex Legends? Why not Fortnite is on this list? I guess it's official. Fortnite is not an esport. Do you have any pick here?
Kind of disappointed. Yeah, let me pick one out here. Let's see. Let's go for. Let's be fresh and new, and let's go for Valorant.
I don't even have a chaos energy pick here.
No, there's not even a chaos pick, Josh.
Yeah, there's nothing. Oh yeah, maybe I'll play Valorant and get killed 8,000 times in that one.
Yeah, I mean, Valorant, I guess, is the most chaosy pick you can pick. See, and it's strange. CS:GO. Okay. Wow.
Again, I raised the question: why is this at the Game Awards?
Why?
And I have absolutely no idea who any of these people are.
I don't know.
Again, if you click right here, you'll vote for me for best esport.
Yeah,
ally.
Josh is right there.
Again, how does this serve to help the industry?
If anything, it is the opposite of what the industry needs, and it's going in the wrong direction.
There should be awards for esports, yes, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say this is an award show about honoring the industry itself.
The industry, yeah.
And then you have honoring people who have no real, impact on the development of these games. Best esports team, again, why?
Oh, wow.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Mm-hmm.
But surely I can beat them all at video games, right?
I know you can, Josh. You got them.
I will bet you they're going to do like the cascading, here are the awards I've won during the commercial break for all the esports stuff. Best... Why?
Oh my. There's so many other categories you can do.
Okay.
Esports. Why do you need a coach? Wow.
And then wait,
okay, we were just talking about the money. Esports is definitely making some money. How many categories is that?
Was that 4? Yeah. Again, this doesn't make sense.
Event?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not voting. This is terrible. That's it. Is that all of them?
Yeah, we made it through.
Okay, we survived.
All right, I'm gonna go back to our normal screen if I can.
Okay, let's see.
Here, there we go.
Okay.
And we're back after almost an hour on those categories.
Well, it took a lot of time, Josh. We had to make sure we had the right esports selections, and
again, the problem that I have with these awards is that, again, they seem to honor whoever has the most money to spend on these games, and there are so many more games I think deserving of this list, or deserving of even just being nominated. I think that's another big point. To Pony's comment earlier about not having enough nominations. The nominations are another marketing point for these games. They give you the option of showing more games off. So that, yes, sure, we know that a game like Oh, I can't even think. Like, again, there's so many games. Like I know, like Dark Tide. That yes, Warhammer Dark Tide probably wouldn't take home a Game of the Year or one of the major awards, but surely it could have been nominated for, whatever art or action game.
Action game.
Like these award lists should be, I would say, at least double, especially
Double
again
that.
with all the games being released this year.
Even with and also even the UI design of the website is sus because like it only shows you 4 and you have to scroll down to see the 5th one. And so, like everything designed around it is again just money.
And again, no signals.
Dark Tide released too late. You can get released. I mean, right now, right, and still be on the Game of the Year. Or is it too late? It's too late. Yeah,
it's definitely too late. I know.
Too late. Yeah.
Again, like Midnight Suns is not for best strategy game.
Yeah. What is that even?
It makes so little sense. So I'm looking at my list right now, the games I'm trying to go through. So I have 3, 6, 9.
November is the cutoff? Okay.
I have about 16 games right now that I'm trying to decide where they would place on my list. And of course, that doesn't count some of the other games I've just played lately. No, Midnight Suns did not make it.
It did not make it. It did not make it.
Because it definitely should have gone on Best Strategy or Sim.
That Sims was a complete joke. I'm trying to think if there was any quality categories, and I would say there was maybe like 3, like the accessibility one, but they failed at stating what they did differently.
Yeah. And again, we need to have, I think, a better list, or we need to kind of standardize what we're trying to award. Because again, we can't have awards that are, I think, too genre locked. Because again, there's no guarantee that, hey, this is going to be out this year. But
and like you shouldn't be honoring the esports and like, and again, we're talking about this is the game awards. This isn't esport awards. Like apparently you can tell that esports make plenty of money and have plenty of events and they could do their own awards on their own time. I think them like taking up 4 award spots also while not honoring such other.
And here's, I think, a really big point. You can really tell that this is not indie focus. There's no adventure category. Because I can guarantee you there's at least 30 to 50 adventure games released every year.
I thought for a second I thought we missed it, or I was waiting for it when we got to esports and I knew it was too late.
Esport point click adventure, go. Yeah, like where did Monkey, and the fact that Monkey Island got the nom is again very suspect, and that's nothing against Monkey Island, but there are some fascinating indie adventure games that were released this year. Where I know I saw
no racing, no CG, no cards, no roguelikes.
How you can tell me that no roguelikes were released this year?
No shmups, no shmup. Yeah, it's a joke. We just
Monkey Island got innovation and accessibility. Why? Why is there no adventure award? Why aren't the adventure games nominated for story?
So no racing, no shmup, no I can never say that right. CCG. The fighting game was a joke. That was a complete joke. Ongoing game. I mean everything, and then the egregious esports, and then also like. Really rubbing me the wrong way was best performers kind of rubbing me the wrong way because that's great they're performing, but hey, what about like I don't know, I didn't even see like screenwriting or like best I don't.
We got best story, right?
No, like narrative.
Yeah, best narrative. Oh man, again, I want Elden Ring to take that just to. There's my chaos vote for best narrative.
Diablo Immortal didn't make accessibility because it's most
It could
accessible
be
for your
best
wallet.
esport. How fast can
Best
you drain
esport.
your bank account?
Yeah. Also, no speedrunning category. How fast can it drain your wallet?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Like, if you're going to honor people doing interesting things in the games, in the game playing space, I should say, why not have a speedrunning category? I mean, we have like 2 to 3 AGDQ games or AGDQ events every year. So surely you could have, best esport or best speedrun attempt. I'm going to sneeze as well.
There was like 31 categories. 31 categories, and I can barely, other than the genres, and most of the genres were wrong. There were so many missing genres that we should be honoring, such as, like you were saying, speedrunning, shmup, CCGs,
The
I mean,
roguelikes.
roguelikes, like, I mean, soon to be Vampire Survivor likes, like, I mean, so much missing, and we're totally missing the point here that we're not truly honoring games. What we're truly honoring are like
The money spent.
the money spent in the game and marketing, and then trying to also have the same cachet or gala as because it's an award show, but then you're missing the validity, and it's a joke, and every gamer knows it.
I can tell you for my award show, Pony, no one gave me any money for my list. And again,
yeah,
like,
who gives you the most money?
we need to kind of settle on what genre qualifiers. Because again, like, we're still like roguelike, horror. Like, I feel like we need to maybe combine a few of these. Because we either, I think, have to do one of two things. We either go super delineated. So, best action game, best sports game, best racing game, best CCG, best roguelike, and go like that. Or we need to come up with, like, very, I guess, wide-catching. Or maybe even do something like have a, third place, second place, first place award.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, there's no reason why we need to just copy the Oscars in this respect. Why not have 3 really great action games or 3 really great RPGs?
That is definitely a way better formula, and instead of chasing, like you said, we were chasing this prestige of an Oscar or whatever, and it's like, that's fine. We're a different medium, and the medium's worth more money than they make. So, like, the medium isn't some, like, we don't need to be chasing some type of prestige. The medium is already prestigious. It already is what it is, right? And so, like you said, we could have more awards, first, second, third place, more descriptive, more understanding. Actually have it right, like a good award show. If we are awarding games, we need to award them correctly.
Yeah.
And, like, man, influencer, or what was it? Ooh.
Content creator.
Josh getting snubbed. Double.
I know. So here's my question for everyone watching this, and if you're watching this record as well, leave a comment. What do you think is a better way of organizing the awards? Either go super delineated, or do like 2 to 3 winners per category. A bronze, silver, gold kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think both could legitimately work. It again depends on how things, how we can structure it.
I think you could even combine them, right? Like, delineate for every category, and then do, so that way more is noticed, because, like, that's really, like, one disservice that the award is doing is really truncating the whole game industry down to making you think that these are the only games out there, and it's, like, really, I guess, just truncating, and then, like, making people not aware. So we're trying to make it mainstream, but you're making mainstream the wrong stuff, right? It's
you're
like,
only showing the games that have already succeeded. You're showing, like, again, what's the risky reward?
Mm-hmm.
from that list. It's definitely not Vampire Survivors. Everyone and their brother has heard of that game by now.
Mm-hmm.
What's so crazy about Content Creator of the Year?
Right. What and what's the point, right? If the point is to award for games,
Mm-hmm.
content creator did nothing for that
Mm-hmm.
at all, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you um yeah, that's just pointless. Just literally pointless. And the thing is that it is something that the people that work so hard in the industry, we need to be recognized. Like the
Mm-hmm.
people need to be recognized, and how we've talked about before, like explaining how the industry works and how games are working. And if people are looking at these award shows, they're totally getting the wrong idea about it. They believe that the games are made because of content creators and esport guys, and that the only games that exist are AAA, right? And
I just thought of something that's also very missing. Why isn't there a Best Game Journalist award?
that's what I'm saying. That's like super important.
Like,
Game journalism is like one of the main, like that's like super important in
yeah.
game dev, right? I mean, game journalism. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I was like, even like just from like it being completely like bought, like you would think like there would be money in having like best game journalists or best piece about the game industry.
Right. Game Informer could come up with a couple bucks.
Yeah. What's Attacha Games? Yeah, exactly, Chris. It's not about again where like game direction. Why would something like Horizon or God of War be on that list? They're just following the same blueprint that their
Yes.
previous games established.
Yeah. So yeah, like God of War 1 point what, God, Ragnarok is like 1.1. It's just already established. There's nothing new or directive. It's just following what's already there.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that Gunfire Reborn didn't take anything from last year, even as like best debut indie,
no, nothing.
still is just shocking to me.
Stray at least did go in a different direction. I don't know, Chris, if you could vouch, if anybody in chat could vouch to Stray, I would like to. I did not have time to get any Stray action in.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to try and fit in Midnight Suns, Roller Drome, and who
Yeah.
knows, and more Dark Tide as well.
Yeah, Midnight Suns in Roller Dome and Dark Tide, same thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Tekken 7, and then I gotta get Samurai Pig done. No, and Rooster Rampage. So that's a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and we need to get a Sifu one for best RPG.
Yeah, Sifu for best RPG ever.
So I guess we went a little bit over time this week, but again, there are just so many. We're going to try and do maybe a stream on Saturday. Or I'm sorry, not Saturday, Thursday. That's when the Game Awards is. What time is the award show anyway? I know there's at least like an hour of like pre trailers. Let's see, Game Awards 2022. It is December 8th at 7:30 ET.
Okay, all right.
So we'll have to get our dinners early and try and watch it. But if we both watch it together, the advantage is when it comes to the sports stuff, we can just like turn that off and or the trailers and commercials. We can just like pause it and then talk about something else.
That's right. That's right. Steam's 30 minute. Oh wow!
Really?
Hey, both of us are gonna get a Steam Deck, Josh.
Oh yeah, with my gotcha log. Where did they announce that at? I did not see that on Steam.
Yeah, link that in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll sign up and maybe we'll get that. Because I know most likely I'm not going to get the rights to stream the Game Awards for full screen this year. So we'll have to have it as like a little tiny image.
Tiny thing. Yeah.
So I think with that, let's sum things up. The big issues, I think, for the Game Awards, as we said, one, it's too nebulous in terms of what is and what isn't allowed to be nominated. The nominations are far too small. If you're trying to celebrate games, and there's there's at least, I would say, 50 to 100 games. There's easily like 50 to 100 games a week now, I would say, coming out. It's like 3,000 games, like 400 or 500 games a week, or 400 or 500 games a month. I mean, there's enough games that you can certainly, even if they have no hope of winning, you can at least mention them. I think Crash would take that award, Pony, right there.
Yeah, for sure.
That you can at least honor more games, and more specifically, honor more people in the game dev space. People who are in the trenches. Community managers. No playtesting award.
No playtesters.
No
QA's
UI.
No UI.
UI, UX. I mean, we could argue accessibility kind of fits that, but I think it could deserve its own category.
Definitely.
Onboarding
tutorial, like everything. Like you can have every genre, and then you could like itemize important aspects of game design. Best game with most improved quality of life, right? Like you could really get wild and important with it.
Yep. There's just so much more that you can do that the award show is not really covering. Yep, and we can delineate things down, we can have multiple awards. The idea is that we should be celebrating the games. And not just the games that spent the most money on marketing or on their engine or their art team, but just have more for mechanics, more for gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh, you pretty much summed it up well for me. All I can add to that is that if we are going to be having a Game Awards, like, we probably got to do our own, right? Like, I mean, because seriously, like, it is so important that a UI designer, like best UI, the best games with the best 3 UI are recognized. And why would that be important? Because that would make people understand what makes UI great. Like the whole thing that we do about studying game design and understanding how to make games better and how to push the medium forward properly, and it's not done through marketing and money. That's not how you do it. It's through creativity and hard work and ingenuity. And so, like, definitely, like, one of the things that we should be doing when we're honoring games is, and I've always talked about this, is like explaining more about how games are made so people understand that. And this is going exactly the opposite way, making people think that esports and influencers and things like that are a part of it, when they're not. When the more important people who are important are, like you said, UI designers, audio designers, level designers, the story designers. Like we need to award them properly, and so that way we would be able to study them better. Because if we're gonna say, hey, study the Game Awards, so that way you know which games, you're gonna come away with absolutely nothing if you were to study those games as best.
And I just realized another award we miss. Best non-traditional game. A game that doesn't involve combat. We talk about the whole joke about the wholesome memes, wholesome games kind of thing, but why not have a category for games that doesn't involve, traditional gameplay, like that trombone game. Like, that game probably should take home some originality.
There is that one, yeah, exactly. Most original game of ever, all time. And I mean, just like the point here is that they either need to be structured, they're probably not going to be. We got to start our own Game Award show, because, I mean, properly, like, the respect that game devs need is not being given through this. Like, I don't even know who benefits from this. I really don't. Like, I'm not sure who benefits from the award.
Advertisers.
I mean, seriously, I think advertisers are the only ones, because I wouldn't even see, as a studio, how I would benefit from this, because I've already paid the money to get to where I am, to get to that award show anyway. I don't know, Josh.
I'm surprised that I just saw someone mention Pentiment. Like Pentiment, the kind of like choose your own adventure with like very interesting art style. Again, why is a game like Pentiment that looks like the old like Renaissance was like was it pamphlets, not pamphlets, the other like scroll work? Why is that not for an art direction or, you know, aesthetic award?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And to Avery's comment, I think I want to touch on this before you wrap it up, where he said, learning about games sometimes goes contrary to celebrating games. Yeah, again, it's that challenge of when you kind of learn how the sausage is being made, you know, a bombastic trailer doesn't do anything to you anymore.
Right, right. Yeah.
Case of the Golden Idol, a game that's about you just figuring out a murder mystery. Why is that not on an indie list? Or, you know, innovation or originality? So, I mean, the award, I think ultimately the problem with the Game Awards is that it's just safe. It's just a way of, you know, talking about the stuff we already know is big. It's not really pushing the medium forward. It's not learning about, you know, what makes a game great or what even is like what goes into a game. Again, community manager, playtesting, QA.
Yeah. For a second there, they had me. I was like, "Oh wow!" I said, "Community manager." Wow, they're starting to go there, and then they just went right into esports. So, um,
Echo Chamber Awards. Yeah, I think that could fit it there, Chris.
yeah, definitely.
And again, games that there's also that question about games that have suffered controversies, like the Call of Duties, the Hogwarts game, Diablo Immortal, being up for an award. Like, it's kind of a little, like, tone deaf there.
To Avery's point about people who are watching there aren't there to learn about how games are made. That's really not the point. Is we're not saying, okay, you're watching there because you're studying game design. But what we're saying is that if you're watching that and you're taking away that is what games are or what we award in games, that's a bad takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like that, like that's what we're celebrating in video games. That's not what we should be celebrating in video games.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Game Developers Choice Awards, which is its own specific thing. But again, if the Game Awards is trying to represent, you know, video games,
right? It's supposed to be the most legitimate one.
Mm-hmm. Have all the games. I think there's probably more games nominated for like the IGF and for the Game Developers Choice that got, you know, anywhere mentioned compared to the Game Awards. And ultimately, again, it feels like it's self-serving. That it's, and this is, I got a post on Ryan that's going to get me in trouble this week when I posted about game journalism and kind of like, there's this tendency, I think, for a lot of people who feel like the people who cover games and the outlets are more important than the games themselves. That the games are being used as service to the people who cover them, rather than the people covering them wanting these games to succeed.
Right.
Slept with Jeff Award, nice. But again, I think we need to have like our own award show. And just
next year.
Yeah.
Next year, let's do it.
And just try and organize things better around that. Because again, there's a lot of games that deserve to be mentioned. Play more Switch on the exercise bike this week. Yeah.
All right, man. Good deal. Good deal. Like I said, Tekken 7, I play at least like I do a minimum 30 minutes cardio every day on Tekken 7. So on the bike, do it. Good job, Chris.
I should do like exercise with Crash 4. Every time I die, I have to do like a 30-minute run. I'll be the most bulked up ever after like a month of that. So I think with that lovely statement, we'll wrap things up for this week. I don't know what we'll talk about for next week's show. We'll see what we can come up with the list. We have to get everyone organized for the streamer, and I'll be dead, I think, if I do that. Pony, there's 80 boxes. There's 80.
Us.
or I will become swole. No?
Yeah, just whoa.
But we had to get things organized for the roundtable. Everyone's been out, missing, or sick. It's been a very interesting combination. 2 developers I want to interview, they both said that they're sick with different ailments. So it is the season of everyone being sick. There we go. We did. This is the pre-hating of the Game Awards, and then we do the posts.
I was thinking, I was like, you know what, we can do posts next time.
Double suffering.
Yeah. And then we can go through each category and be like, oh my gosh, how did that win?
All right, and so with that, we will wrap things up. So we will be back normally Saturdays around 5 p.m. ET. Like I said, we're going to try and watch the show together Thursday. So that will be the 8th around 7:30 p.m. So join in for that masochism there.
Yes. Yeah, please join and chat with us so we can discuss the awards.
Yeah. Do all the liking, subscribing, and commenting. My information is up there as well as down below.
Same thing for me, down below. Wishlist Samurai Pig, Rampage. Join Josh's Discord, buy some books. Catch us on the 8th when we watch the award show.
You may want to stock some drinks there too as well, Tony.
Yeah, bring some drink.
Tony brings the popcorn. Chris brings the pizza. I think we're set.
We're set. Yeah.
So, everyone, come back for discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games, and get very sad about award shows. And we will see everyone next time. Take care.